Alright, in this video we'll see how to create a star rating plugin. What do I mean by that? In case if you have these amount of products, in each products you want to add a star rating system. So let's say I want to give rating to the Johnny Test t-shirt and I have given the rating, and if I refresh the page you'll see the average rating is 1. Similarly for Batman t-shirt I just want to give, I have already given, so it will not allow me to give the rating. For the Dexter t-shirt I have already given it. For Johnny Test let me just give 5 star to it, and you'll see the Johnny star is now rated. Similarly for the Superman t-shirt also you can give rating. So these rating will be visible on the settings page rating page. So if you wish to reset all the ratings you can do that. I want to reset for the Dexter t-shirt, let me just do it. Since I have given rating to the Dexter t-shirt, I can now refresh the page and see I will be able to give rating to it. Similarly, if you want to remove the Batman t-shirt rating, if you refresh, it's fresh now. If you click on, if I give rating, you'll see the rating is there, and I have given the rating 4 to it. We'll see how to create this plugin. So here we'll be using custom database which will store all the rating with the post ID and the user. Since I am a logged in user, I will be able to rate. If there is another user, he can also give a rating, and based on that the average will be given. So you can see average is 4. So we'll be using custom database table, we'll be using shortcode. So these datas are coming from actually the shortcode, and it will be in the HTML format, the star rating system, and we'll be creating an option page that will display all the page which has the shortcode and the rating. If you wish to reset the rating you can do that. If I click on reset all the ratings would get resetted, and if I refresh it you'll see Johnny Test t-shirt will have a fresh restart. Fine, enough with the intro. If you are interested in learning similar type of coding like specific to WordPress or web development or Laravel, I have a complete learning management system for it. You have to just enroll it, and I would recommend to start from HTML, then go to CSS, then go to JavaScript, then PHP MySQL, then WooCommerce, then theme development, then plugin development, and finally the Laravel development. We are in the plugin development series right now, and if you are very beginner, I would recommend you to go from HTML and reach to the WP plugin development, so you'll better understand what I say line by line. So these codes are free as of now, and you can see we have like 56 courses, and it's the roadmap for 0 to hero. The same way for the JavaScript, you'll be starting from 0, and once you complete these hundreds of lessons, you'll be confident enough to say yourself that you are a complete web developer or UI developer. So once you enroll and complete this course, you'll be confident enough to say yourself that you are good at web designing, you're good at WordPress development, you are good at UI development, and you can also do what Laravel as well. Fine, enough with the intro, and just to give you a glimpse of what JavaScript is, we have hundreds of lessons. These are not theory based, these are practical based, so you can use it in a portfolio. Once you go through all the pages, you'll be go through all the courses, you'll be creating word guess game, typing test game, alarm clock, these and IMDb clone, quiz game app, and custom chatbot. So again, it's a 0 to hero roadmap. And if you like my tutorial videos, I would recommend you to support my channel by getting into this page and do whatever amount you could give and pay it. This will help me to create more and more YouTube videos every day. That would benefit number of people like you. Cool. The very first thing that we need to do is we just need to show our plugin in this page. So for that, what we do is we need to get into the plugins folder. I have set up my WordPress locally, so it's inside a PHP plugin website. Inside WP content I have a plugin folder. Inside the plugin folder we need to create, let's say, rating. So we need to create a folder first, and then we need to create a PHP file. The name should be similar to what you have in the folder. So we need to give some information so that it can get displayed in this particular page. In this case, we will be passing it with the help of PHP comment. So this is the name of the plugin, and above below here we have a description, then we have version, then we have the author name. We can name it as, so this is enough to make your plugin visible on this particular page. And if you click on activate, I want a table to be created similar to this. So for that, WordPress gives you a function called register activation hook, and with register activation hook it will call a function, and that will have the query of creating a columns. And now you see these are the columns that we need ID, we need post ID, we need rating, we need user ID. The post ID is required to know which post has got the rating. The user ID is required because there will be only one time the user can give rating. That's the reason we are getting the post ID, sorry, user ID. And this is the time stamp, and we are making the ID as primary key, and we are making the user ID and post ID to be unique. And to execute the custom table, WordPress gives you a function called delta dv. We need to pass the query into it. So this is the place where the delta dv is actually defined. And we to communicate this PHP file with the WordPress gives you a global object called wp-dv, and we need to set our page name. Let's do that. Since our table name will be reused again and again, I would recommend to keep it global. So what I'm doing is I'm defining a table name, and this is the prefix. Every WordPress database will have a prefix on the table. In this case it's wp underscore, so I'm getting the prefix and I'm using my table name. So this is going to be a table name. Once I activate, you will see this table name will be over here. Now we have defined a variable and we'll be using that variable. So let me just activate it and show you. Once we activate, the plugin is activated. Now we need to just refresh the table, and we need to check for this table name whether it has shown, whether it's updated on the database or not. Yes, it's there. As of now it is going to be blank. As you see, these are the columns that we have given in the form of SQL query. Now what we need to do is we need to create a shortcode. To create shortcode, WordPress gives you a function called add short, and this is the shortcode we will be using inside square bracket, and this is a function that will have your HTML. Before having our shortcode, what actually we need to know, when the page loads, you see, when the page loads, we want the HTML to be embedded, so these star rating should be there. And after the star rating, we want the data of average, and we want the data average is 3.1. we want the number of times the user has rated, so we need count value, we need the average value. Along with that, the text. If I have already rated this product, I want this data to be faded. In that case, we need to know whether the current user, has actually made the entry on the table or not. So to do that, we would be creating a function. So I'm first checking whether it's a page or not. If it's a page, then we need to fetch the rating, sorry, we need to fetch the count, we need to fetch the average, and display it into a variable. So count is available, average is available, and I'm getting the current user ID. If I'm checking if the current user ID is already present in the table, so in that case I will be defining a already variable. So we have count, sorry, this is average, this is count, and if the already is there, then we need to give the class accordingly. So these three variables, this is the requisite. Whenever the page loads, we need to have this query. Now I'm using the button. See, the button will have the value, data hyphen value 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 5. So that's why it's for loop. Inside data value, the first star will have 1, second star will have 2, third star will have 3, and so on. And if I am the user, I have already rated it. If the already variable is set, then add the attribute to the HTML which is disabled, or else do nothing. And then we are displaying the average value. So we have displayed the average value, we are displaying the ratings, and if user has already rated, then you can give a custom message. Let me just check whether the shortcode is ours or not. So to have our shortcode, we just need to copy this and paste it over here. Actually it's similar, or we can just name it as -2. Click on save, and make sure your page is saved, and if you refresh it, you'll see now it's without CSS and JavaScript. So to add CSS and JavaScript, what we need is, I have not given any rating, so that's why thank you is also not showing up. Now to add JavaScript and CSS, we have a concept called enqueue script. This enqueue we can link our CSS and JS. So I'm saying these are the handle that WordPress will know that these are the script, these are the styles, and the first one is style, the second one is script, and the third one is the URL for the AJAX. So WordPress has a different way of handling AJAX. Admin hyphen ajax.php is the place where your AJAX request goes. So I am going to send the value, which is this URL, to the front end. To access the URL in the front end, we'll be using localize script. We have already covered in the previous video. And this is the location where your style sheet is. This is the location where your script tag is. I'm depending on jQuery. I'm saying that load the jQuery first, then load my JS. So let me create the style sheet, style.css, and a script sheet, script.js. So the style.css is going to be very similar. We don't have to worry about it. It's very straightforward, but we need to make note on JavaScript. So the click function will work on that. So this is the style. Now for the JavaScript, what do we need? First of all, what we need is, when I hover on it, I want the star to get highlighted. The second thing is, if I click on 4, so a click event should trigger, and that click event should give a AJAX request to a particular hook in the WordPress so that it can handle. So when I click on this, I want some data to be sent. The first one is, the very important thing is, we need to send action so that WordPress know which hook should handle this request. The second thing is, we need to pass the user ID. The third thing is, we need to pass the post ID. So let's do that in the JavaScript. So before the JavaScript sends the AJAX request, we need to add CSS to this. Not CSS, let me just explain. So this is a wrapper. So this actually is a wrapper. This wrapper had the ID. Let me just show you. This wrapper had an ID so that we know which is the actual page, which is the page that we are actually in. So you can see this is the holder which has the ID, and then we have a star, then we have the data. This is the wrapper. So we are getting the post ID, we are getting the stars, and with the help of stars, since we have stars, wherever there is disabled, in case if there is a disabled, then add the class rated. So this rated class will simply blur out the content. So let me just show you the Superman if it has. If this is there, then you can see if the disabled class is there. If the disabled class is there, then the rated would be applied. Rated is simply, it blurs the data, it blurs the stars. And then when I mouse enter, it's actually a useless thing. We don't have to worry about it. The second and the far most important thing is, if I click on certain button, event is passed, a click event, and it gets the value, whether it is 1, whether it is 2, whether it is 3, because we have passed the for loop I number, which is the count, and we are setting the star as disabled. We are setting the star disabled. Once the disabled is applied, you will see this will run, and rated would be, you see this. Once I click on a star, the disable button, disabled will be enabled. Once the disabled is enabled, I will say apply a toggle class called rated, and till the place where I have clicked. And once it's clicked, I want to send the AJAX request. So you see the AJAX request, we are sending the action so that WordPress know which is the data which is the hook that it need to handle the data, handle this value. So now we need to create a hook. We'll create a hook. So action, so this is the action attribute, and WordPress, and saying that WordPress, if there is a request with AJAX, if there is a request with AJAX and has the action similar to this, then use this function. And it's checking whether whether we are a logged in user, and it will get all the values which we have passed through the AJAX. And first we are checking if the if the data is already present. If the data is already present, then we will send a message saying that you have already rated. If the data is not present, then what we'll do is we'll insert the values into the table, and we'll pass the average, we'll pass the count as a success. So if I check, let me just rate this, and if I refresh the page, it doesn't seem to work. It's not saved yet. Our page is not saved yet. So I'm rating it 4, and thanks for rating. We got that success message, which is this one. Thanks for rating. And you see, when on success, the data that we receive, we got that thanks for rating, but these data doesn't seems to be appended. Let me check why. And that data will be displayed over here. Just delete this and check for the AJAX request. So data average control, it says that this feature average, it doesn't get it, where actually in the place where the HTML is defined. So it doesn't have a class PGR average, and I have given those. Let's check again, deleting this. Cool, now it works. Let me just delete it and show you. Delete this, and when I click on a rating, you'll see you have rated and thanks for rating. And if I refresh its page, it won't allow me to rate, because it says you are already rated. Cool, now it's time for the settings page. Let's create a setting page. We'll use the hook called admin menu, and we'll define the page name, the title of the page, and then the capability and the options for the author. This is this is default. We don't have to touch it. And this is a slug, and this is a relevant function that would get called when I click on a button. So let's do that. And here what I need is, I want to test and get all the values which is actually entered in this particular page. So for that I need to again edit this page and have a rating, and now this will have our rating system. Let me just rate this. We got the value and 2 data is there. Now we'll fetch these values which is in the table with the help of query. So we have used the connection, we have got the current user ID. So no, this is not the code. We'll create the code now. As said, we'll have database connection, and then we'll create a table which will have ID, which will have page, which will have rating and count, which will have average, which will have action. And we are running the query, and in this case we are grouping it in the name of group by. If you do this, we'll get only one row with count and rating. Since we don't want one row, we want the data to be grouped by the page. So that's why I'm passing group ID, and everything else is similar, simple and straight. We just want to display post ID. We need to, with the help of post ID, we can have access to the post name. Then we have count, total count. Then we have average, and this is the AJAX request that we are sending with the hardcode URL. You see, we are passing action. We are also passing the post ID. Similarly, we are passing the action on the reset all. So we'll be creating this hook which handles these requests. Let me just show you the HTML first, sorry, the view first for the page. So in the after its activation, you see register page rating 2, and these are the two things which is actually available on this particular database. Now if I click on reset, you need to notice the action is this one. URL reset post and the post ID. So we need to create a hook that handles this request, and it's very straightforward, just as we usually do. So you see, whatever you see here, you'll see this after this wp underscore ajax underscore whatever, and this function gets the database connection, receives the post ID, and just runs the delete operation. You can see delete and passing the table, also the ID which we have received, and then redirect to the page which we have created, which is -2 and -2. Similarly, for all, what we do is, let me just, so it got deleted. So similarly, if I click reset all, we have the URL VGA reset all and getting the table and database connection, and we are just removing the whole table and redirecting back to the option 2 slug. That's all for today. Thank you so much for listening.